Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So as you can tell by the title, this is a long-awaited Q&A. So let's jump right into it. First question. You know what? I'm gonna just start it off crazy. Somebody asked, "Would you ever make a OF?" The answer is no, because I feel like it tarnishes your image. Whether you start off with doing it just to make money, and then you leave and get your money from it and try to change your whole the way you are as a person, I feel like it still lingers. So that's one reason why I would never do it. Two, I would never do it is just simply because I feel like if I have to stoop that low for money, like it's just not worth it. I keep me a job. Okay, I will go and get me a 9 to 5, whether that's shoveling poop or working in a hospital like I usually do. I would prefer to do that before I sell myself. The craziest thing about it though is the fact that I've had people send me pages of people using my face and my images to scam people and to, promote that they're selling images of me. And it's sad, honestly. Like a lot of you guys definitely have gotten scammed out of people, or even people are using my images on Facebook to promote like they're selling clothes or whatever it is that they're promoting to sell and just using my face. Like it's a very frustrating situation, especially because I'm constantly reporting these accounts, or they already have me blocked, and I'm telling people when they come across these accounts, block them. So then that just makes me want to say also my only accounts is my Instagram, which is underscore RayXX, and then my second page, which is underscore RayXX Diaries. Well, not diaries, but diary. I only have two TikToks, which is my main underscore Ray XX, and then my backup page, I believe, is underscore Ray XX. You can see them. Each page that I have is literally in all of my bios. I have one Twitter account, which is underscore Ray XX1. And then I have a Facebook account with my government name, which is Ray Shante Young. Other than that, you will not find no other platforms. So just keep that in mind, okay? Someone said, "Do you ever consider streaming?" Now, I definitely want to start streaming. I definitely want to start off with the phone, but I think right now, because I'm trying to get back being consistent with my social medias, that it's kind of like one of those things like don't sell yourself short, like I'm saying to myself, because I know that you guys out there will support, but I feel like even with YouTube right now, I got a good amount of subscribers. And I always have people saying, "Oh, make a new video, post." But when I am consistently posting, you guys really aren't supporting. And I don't expect you guys to always like, comment, and just share it or just watch the whole video through. But that can be discouraging a little bit, but not too much for me because I honestly enjoy just sharing my life. I've been doing it for years now. So with the streaming part of it all is like, are you guys gonna be watching for real? You know what I mean? Like, are y'all really gonna support me? I'm definitely willing to do it. We all have to start somewhere, so I'm not really too discouraged if people watch or they don't. But that also takes time and money too. So we'll see. Are you dating someone right now? Yes, I am. I know you guys always are asking that question, but yes, your girl is dating. It's gonna make 2 years coming up in September. Actually, September is next month. I'm gonna try to keep these questions as simple as I can, you guys, so I don't want to drag out the video. Cost of living in Florida for people wanting to move there. Realistically speaking, I just seen a study that is saying that Florida has become more expensive than New York, which is actually crazy. But I can only speak from my experience. I lived in a gated community. It was a nice luxury apartment, but it wasn't, they still had stairs. We didn't have elevators. So it was like luxury to an extent. But just for a one bedroom, I was paying $2,000. And then that's not including, was water included? I can't vividly remember, but I know I had to pay internet, electric, renter's insurance. It was a few things that I had to pay for, and let's just throw in groceries as well because I didn't drive at the time. I was also taking Ubers, and that was coming up to like 400 a month. But your girl was outside, okay? From Ubers to groceries to the extra little things, I was probably paying close to 2,500 or more now that I'm adding on the Ubers. So do what you will with that information. I'm not trying to discourage anybody from moving to Florida. You will definitely find you a great space, but realistically, to find something within a nice budget, you're probably going to be ultimately in the hood, probably dealing with an infestation of some type of creature, and you're still not going to get the best out of your situation. Um, you might find one that has a good pricing, but don't include a washer and dryer. I definitely need a washer and dryer in my home. Um, some people are okay with not being in a gated community, but then you have to also think about if you have a vehicle, you don't want your things to be your car to be broken into. So honestly, again, I'm not discouraging anybody from moving to Florida, but I would definitely say look at all your options, because another thing that plays a big role is the fact that minimum wage is not that high. Most people are surviving barely off of 16 an hour, and that's 2 weeks pay, and that's maybe if they're getting 40 hours a week, right? So, but they do have another option. Let's say you're in a relationship or you have a family member, whichever. They do have housing for people that I know partners is with you guys combined, or whoever you decide to live with, as long as both of you are totaling over maybe 100K or 80 to 70,000 a year, that they will put you in a nice apartment. And it sucks because, with me, when I was by myself, some of those places, it seems like they offered more for people that was with somebody. Like if you're coming into twos with somebody to live in this apartment, they will have a lower rating that you would need. But a person that's living on their own, like myself, I remember calling this one apartment. They wanted me to be making over 200,000 a year. Baby, be realistic. Anyways, good luck to your apartment journey if you do decide to move to Florida. Someone asks, what made you move to Europe? Obviously, as you guys know, yes, I'm in a relationship, and so that's primarily one of the reasons. But if you knew me or have been following me for a while, you would know that I've been thinking about moving to Thailand for a few years now. So that was up in the view of things of me possibly moving too soon. Um, but it just so happens that Europe was first. So that's definitely still on my bucket list. I definitely want to go over there for about a month or two to see how I really like it. But yeah. So what's the quickest way for someone to get your attention? You can't. Where exactly did you move and what's the process? Because they want to also move out of the country. I moved to the Netherlands. It's 2 hours from Amsterdam. The process for me, surprisingly, they're actually asking more of my partner than they are me. The only thing they're asking of me is literally to bring my birth certificate, but I did have to send my birth certificate off back to California so that it can get apostilled. So the thing is, I don't know how any other country is doing it, but I know that in the States, our birth certificate is like set in stone, like it holds weight. But over here, they look at it as like, okay, that could just be another piece of paper. Long story short, I sent it off there and they sent it back to me with a stamp showing that it was apostilled or postaled, whichever way it's pronounced. And just have your passport, your birth certificate. That's literally it. I don't have to take no entry test or anything like that. Pretty much just have to apply with my partner, and he has to show his bank statements, place of living, his way of work. So yeah, I'm gonna be applying for my visas in a few months. The good thing about living over here is that right now I can be over here with no problem for 90 days. And then once I come back, because I'm actually about to go back home in 2 months so that I can go and get my dog and a few more things. But once I do that, once I come back, I will be applying for the visa. And during that process, they will give me a temporary visa until whenever they grant it. Now, again, I don't really know the whole process because every country is different, but yeah, just do your research. Would you give a working man a 9 to 5 a chance? Yes. I'm doing it now. I think the thing is, y'all always get confused because how y'all see me or perceive me on social media is that I'm a certain way when I'm completely not. Like, don't get it twisted. Yes, I've dealt with players, basketball players, celebrities, you know what I mean? People that work a 9 to 5. I'm not above nothing. At the end of the day, I always say, unless somebody is fully taking care of me and giving me money, whatever they do and how they make their money doesn't matter to me as long as you're not out here putting my life in danger or your own. That's it. Are your toes cute? They're very much cute. Like, but that's all y'all get. Someone asks, do you have a belly button piercing? If so, did it hurt and why did you get it? I do have a belly button piercing and I got it when I was 18. Yeah, I think it was 18 or 19, and I got it because everybody has to have a belly button piercing. Like, hello, like, very cute and very demure. Why you leave the state? Are you planning on coming back? So I already answered part of that question, but I do plan on coming back, like I said, in the next 2 months to retrieve my dog, which is also a long process. If you guys have more questions as far as like me transporting my dog over here with me, I definitely would do a little video or maybe just a short reel on Instagram or TikTok explaining the process of it all because it's actually more in depth than it is for me to come over and live here. So a little crazy, but whatever. What's your way of inner self work? I call myself out on BS. You know yourself better than anybody knows you. Straight up. That's just what it is. And at the end of the day, if you're not willing to hold yourself accountable, nobody else probably will. Most times, when we're looking for some type of advice on bettering ourselves, we look to others for that advice. And most time, when that person is calling you out, like people steer clear of you because you kind of have a mean demeanor. And sometimes when somebody's giving you constructive criticism, a lot of times people can't handle it or know how to obtain it without being offended. So ultimately, for me, that's definitely something that I had to work on too because, nobody's perfect, but sometimes we look at ourselves like, you know what, they saying this, and it's like, that can't be true. But at the end of the day, I just call myself out on BS and I just hold myself to a higher standard. And overall, I just try to be better in all aspects because at the end of the day, nobody is going to push you. You may have some people that, want to see you do better in sort of a way to push you to be better, but at the end of the day, you have to be willing to. Like, for instance, I've been back in the gym for almost 2 months consecutively now. And before, I would always make the excuse, oh, I need somebody in the gym with me. I need that push and that motivation. But at the end of the day, you know what? You're your own self motivation. And I literally push myself all the time, even when I'm doing a hard set and I don't want to finish it through. Guess what? I'm in my head saying, girl, this your last set. Push it because ain't nobody in here that's going to be able to say you did it or you didn't do it. Usually when you have somebody in the gym with you, they can watch you and say, no, you got one more set. But guess what? You got to push yourself to do that. Just hold yourself accountable. And if you want to see better, do better, period. What do you do for work? So my previous job, I was a nursing assistant. I worked at medical daycare for kids with disabilities. This is a very enjoyable job. I love working with kids. I've always said I wanted to be a pediatrician. So going back to school will be happening soon once I start the visa process because as of now, I cannot work. I cannot go to school. Someone asked, do you have a new job venture in Europe? No, not as of yet, but I hope so soon. The biggest thing is obviously I need my visa, but the language barrier, because I've done so much medical type of work, from working as a nursing assistant, working as a behavioral health tech in the hospitals, working as a CNA. Even if I try to apply for those jobs, it's a language barrier. And currently I am learning Dutch. So I'm gonna give y'all a brief introduction. So, hoi, ik ben Ray. Ik spreek een beetje Nederlands. Alles goed? So I said, hi, I am Ray. I speak a bit of Dutch. Are you good? Or hoe gaat het is, how are you? So there's a few things that I know, but not a whole lot. How old am I? I am currently 26 and my birthday is February 5th. So someone asked, was it scary taking such a risk? I don't feel like, well, anything you do is a risk, but potentially I don't feel like it was very scary for me, because if you know, you know. But a few years ago, I did do something kind of similar. It was just to a different state. I did live in Phoenix, Arizona. But of course, I didn't have any friends. I didn't have any family with me. Um, when I lived there, it definitely has shaped me more as the adult that I am now. But I've kind of done something similar. So yeah, I'm not too scared. It's been nice being here, and I really do enjoy it. It's definitely something different. And like I've said the other day when I was on live, what's for me will always be, and I trust in God fully. So if this doesn't end up working out for me, it just doesn't work out, and this would just be another life experience. So a lot of people just keep asking why the move, why the move. Well, now you know. I will post another questionnaire, and if you guys have any more detailed questions based off this video, go ahead and ask them, or even drop down in the comments and ask whatever you feel like I didn't answer, or if you want a more in-depth answer. So I can definitely give that for you guys. But again, I just don't want to drag out the video. Am I happy? I am happy. I definitely feel at peace right now, you guys. I'm going to the gym every day. I'm eating good. I'm being taken care of and loved properly. It's literally nothing more that I can ask for. I'm in this with God, you know what I mean? Definitely still trying to find my feet with being in a new country, but I'm happy. Will you visit Germany too? I want to meet you. So you know what's crazy? I did have a layover once in Germany, but it was just a layover, so obviously I didn't really get to explore. However, that would definitely be something nice to do. Staying in Europe permanently, or is it just temporary? It would definitely be permanently, but don't get it twisted. I will be coming back and forth from Florida to here to other trips. I'm literally about to go to Paris next week, and then after that, I'm going to Albania. So I'm excited. So those that actually stay and watch this video full and through, y'all will be the first to know before I drop another video on YouTube with my Paris experience. Yeah, that was it for the questions. So I really do hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I didn't drag any answers out too much for you guys. I hope I kept y'all attention long enough. Again, if y'all have any more questions, or if you want me to explain a little bit more in depth of some of the questions that I did answer, I have no problem with doing that. So thank you again for watching, and stay tuned for my next video in Paris. Bye, guys.